There's a lot of hate thrown at the SEC this week, and while we all acknowledge this on the show, we don't like these games. All we want is good, meaningful college football. We want to see the cream of the crop. We want to see the best against the best every week. Unfortunately, we don't get that, and it's not like that in any conference, but for some reason, people who have an inferiority complex outside of the SEC love to bash the SEC when a handful of teams, a handful, play non-Division I opponents, because you had South Carolina, they played Coastal Carolina, LSU played Western Kentucky. I mean, and then you had three conference games, and you only had really a handful of teams. I think Texas did they have a bye this past week?
Texas played Arkansas.
You're correct. I was thinking somebody had a bye this week, but anyway, there was a handful of teams, 6 teams that played non-Division I opponents. And it always seems like the most hate always comes from the Big Ten crowd, because they have such an inferiority complex when it comes to the Southeastern Conference, because they know top to bottom the conference just isn't as good. Anybody can see that. Kirk Herbstreit, that Kirk Herbstreit, the same one who played quarterback at Ohio State, was an Ohio State graduate, himself said that that he gets accused all the time of being an SEC homer. And I was watching an interview with him, and he was like, are you kidding me? He said, I want nothing more than to promote the Big Ten and to make the Big Ten look good. But he's like, just watch the games. Watch the games, and you tell me. You tell me what you see. And the fact that in the past recruiting cycle, every team in the SEC, with the exception of Vanderbilt, finished in the top 30. There were another, I think, 10 or 12 teams that finished in the top 40 in the portal. So not only are the SEC teams, the majority of the teams getting the best players in high school recruiting, they're getting some of the most developed talent already out there. I don't know how there could be any possible argument that the SEC top to bottom is not the best conference. Now, that's not to say that the Big Ten doesn't have teams that, I'm not saying that they can't win the national championship, but what I'm saying is top to bottom, the SEC has the most talent, has the best players. And another point that I'm going to make about this is also Phil Steele. I was checking his ratings today. He uses 9 sets of power ratings. One of them is purely on the strength of the roster. In other words, recruiting. 10 of the top 25 best rosters, top to bottom, in the country are in the SEC. There's just no argument. And to that point, there was only 5 from the Big Ten. Now, the thing of it is we can go on and on and on about this, about who's got the best teams and who's got the best this. We played this week. Typically, it always happens in the SEC. We always get the most smoke from the Michigan and the Ohio State fans. The reality of it is that you're secretly jealous of Alabama, especially. I'll use them as an example. Alabama has Ohio State and Michigan together combined only have 5 more bowl wins than Alabama. Michigan and Ohio State also hold record for the most losses in bowl games. Alabama has a 46-28 record in bowl games. They've also won more bowl games and have a winning bowl record. Alabama's won claimed 19 national championships. Ohio State and Michigan together have 21 claimed national championships, either 21 or 22. And I understand it. I get it. I mean, Michigan, you started playing football 14 years after the Civil War. I get it. You've been playing longer than anybody. You've won more games than anybody, as you should have. But the reality is you've only won 3 championships since World War II. One of them you shared with Nebraska, and the other one you had a complete rogue program run by Jim Harbaugh, where you had not only cheating in major recruiting violations, but you also had all the Connor Stallion stuff. Ohio State, you've won 3 titles with 3 different coaches, and I do tip my cap to you, because you, Ohio State, recruit like the SEC, and you've done it for a long time. I do tip my cap to you. I have a whole lot more respect for Ohio State than I do Michigan. I do, however, have to point out your 3 national championships in the last 25 years. 2 of them have been followed by sanctions. One, Jim Tressel. One, Urban Meyer. Now, that was secondary, but it was still sanctions. So I understand you have an inferiority complex. I understand why. In the last 50 years, Alabama has won 9 national championships. The 2 of you have won 5. So I get it. Anytime the SEC does something that you don't like, you're going to point it out. I understand it. We pointed it out. We don't like it. We only want to see meaningful football. But I'm also going to point something out to you that you might not like with your conference.